Hi everyone, there is a comet up in the sky right now, almost visible with the unaided eye, but I can see it with my telescopes. There it is right there. That's one picture, but let's look at some more pictures of Comet 2022 E3 ZTF. Hi, I'm Pat Prokop and welcome to Heavenly Backyard Astronomy. The camera that I'm going to be using to photograph the comet actually will be two, because I'm using two different rigs. The first camera is the ZWO-071 multicolor or one-shot color camera. And with that, I'm using a special filter to help light pollution cut down light pollution. This is the Optolong L Pro filter. It's great for city lights in my area. I'm a Bordeaux 5 region right here in Savannah. And then the other camera I'm using is this actually planetary camera. It's the Player 1 Uranus C camera, or some say Uranus C. Again, it's a planetary camera and it's designed for that, but it also does fairly decent in deep space object photography and, of course, for comets. And I'm using this on the other rig. So let's take a look at those telescopes. My main telescope that I'm going to be using is this Orion Eon triplet. It's a 130 millimeter refractor lens and it has a focal length of 910 millimeters. Now it's sitting on the Skywatcher EQ6R Pro mount, and this mount has been giving me some fantastic tracking, usually less than 0.8 of a RMS error in arc second. So I'm very pleased with this rig right here. And I have a mini computer on board here that connects everything with my main computer upstairs, and it uses NINA. Let's take a look at the second telescope. And the second rig is this Newtonian, actually it's a Maxitoff Newtonian astrograph. It's the Orion, and it has a aperture of 190 millimeters with a focal length of 1,000 millimeters. And this is sitting on the old Stellarium CGM mount, and the mount has given me a little bit of issues lately. I'm trying to correct the worm gear in this, so there is some skipping going on. Anyway, I have another onboard computer with this one as well, and as well as connected to NINA and to the Stellarium CPWI to control the rig itself. So let's take a look at all this and see how it looks in the computer. Now, if you're wondering why the comet is green, well, I just made a video about that a couple of weeks ago, and I'll have it at the end of the video on the end screen there, so you can click on that as to why comets are green. Anyway, hey, if you've been looking at this corner of my desk, here is a book. I love reading books about the history of astronomy and the history of physics and the history of science in general. And I've been reading books, gosh, forever. I'm now in my 70s, and I continue to read books about the history of science. And this is one of the best ones I've come across yet. It is the book by Dr. Becky Smethurst, and don't let the title scare you away, A Brief History of Black Holes. This book is fascinating. I'm not getting paid or anything about this book. I just think this book is so good that I wanted to share it with you so that you know about it as well. I mean, she's amazing with the way she writes, and her YouTube videos are also very good at that as well. But again, this is a very fascinating book, and it's hard to stop reading once you start, and it's not complex at all. It's simple to read, and it's just loaded with great information about how the pioneers of astronomy and physics and science have continued to build upon each other to lead us to where we are today. So let's get back on the topic of the green comet, and let's take a look at PhD2. Let's take a look at Stellarium and also NINA. All of these I used into tracking the comet. All right, before I get into this, I want to prove that comets are green. Look at right here. It says it's green on this can right here. Okay, enough of that. Let's go into Stellarium. We had to find the comet, green or not, but this one is green. So open up Stellarium, and from Stellarium, go into your configuration file if you not have already done that. This way you can find the comet. Go over into your configuration file. It looks like a little wrench, and right there, and then go into, it'll be in main, go into plugins, and then from plugins, scroll down till you get the Solar System Editor and click on that. And then make sure that this mark here is clicked, the load at startup, and then hit configure. And then from there, go in from configuration file to Solar System. And from Solar System, go into import. And from there, make sure you click on comets. And it'll be on asteroids defaults. Click on comet. And then from there, click on the selected bookmarks and use the NPC's list of observable comets. Click on that, and then go into your get orbital elements. It'll be 2022 E3 ZTF. There it is right there, and click on add elements, and we're in. And it's been updated. Now you can close out this and close out this and close out that. Then go into find, which is the right here, the search window, and then click in. Well, I had it already typed in, so but just type in C 2022. There it is, and hit search, and it'll find it for you. Right now, it's above the horizon, according to this, in the northwestern sky. But it's daylight. So let's go. I'm doing this at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So let's go at night. So open up our clock here, right here. There we go. Let's add the hours here. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I know it's going to rise after midnight, about 3 o'clock in the morning. There it is right there. So let's zoom out a little bit. It's going to be up in the northeastern sky. This is at 3 o'clock local time, a.m. And there's the information about the comet right there on your screen, and then you can find it. If you want to find out, the constellations and so forth, you can click on these icons here to give you an idea just where it is. And it's just moved out of Corona Borealis into, just to the east-northeast of Moody's, and approaching Draco the Dragon. Eventually, it'll be heading near the North Star. Let's see if we can go in time and take a look at that. And let's go with the date right here, and you can see how it's moving. And by January 31st and February 1st, actually in Eastern time it'll be February 2nd, it'll be closest to the Earth in this location over here, high in the northern sky after midnight. And actually it'll be rising earlier in the morning. Let's see. Let's go down time-wise. Yeah, see, it's up all night long. So 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the evening, it's already up in the sky. Almost circumpolar, so up in near the North Star. So it's going to be up all night long on February 1st and 2nd, and in and around that date. So there you have it in Stellarium, how to find it. So the next step is go into our programs. Now, I like to use NINA. NINA has a nice little device called Orbitals. So let's check that out. And let's go into NINA. I'm going to load it up right over here. Meanwhile, I'm going to have my coffee. I love my coffee. If you want, you can buy me a cup of coffee. Look at the link below. I'm not choosy. Loading in NINA. Oh, that was good coffee. My James Webb coffee cup. Go load the profile. And over in profiles, click on imaging. And right now I'm not connected to anything. Again, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And from imaging, go into, this is the default right here, go into orbitals. Now, if you haven't already downloaded the orbitals, you go into plugins. And plugins, you'll have a lot of plugins available. And I already got mine loaded, so it's not going to show up. And it's the orbitals right here. And I already have it installed, but there's the information about orbitals. And then go into the imaging tab and find orbitals in here somewhere, right there. And then click on that. And then go over here to comets and update it so you get the latest information. And it's done. That's how fast it is. But of course, you got to be connected to the internet. And then go over to here, to the solar system body, and click on comets right there. And then here, you're going to have to type in the number. Well, let's just start typing in. So this case is C/2022 slash or space E3, and then the Zwicky Transit Facilities. That's our facility, Zwicky Transit Facility, and click on that, and then hit load. And from there, you have your information about the comet right here. Now, some interesting things to do if you have PhD2 loaded. You can send, let's load it. This is not my imaging computer. This is my main desktop computer, which I do all my processing on, but I have these in here for demonstrations purposes, and that's what we're doing right now. We're demonstrating. So there's PhD2. Push here, dummy, it stands for. If they, okay. Back to NINA. Let's see, I got to load in equipment. Go to Guider. Load PhD2. Okay, now go back to imaging. All right, now we're back in NINA, and there you see now it says set guider shift rate. All right, let me go back to PhD2, and I know that we're not connected there. Go to Tools, and go down to right there, Comet Tracking. How about that? Click on that, and notice right here it has right ascension and declination as 0 and 0. And keep this unit as arc seconds per hour, and mount your mount if it's a right ascension, declination mount, an equatorial mount. Yeah, click on that, or if it's already clicked. You don't need to do this if you're using NINA, so you can just ignore this right here, the rate training. You can do that, but it takes a while. But anyway, notice this right here now. I'm going to go back to NINA, and I'm going to say set guider shift rates or rate. Click on that. That's all it takes. And then go back to PhD2, and there you can see it has loaded in the correction for the right ascension and declination rates for PhD2 to guide on a comet. Now you just select your guide stars, but it will guide for the moving comet, so you get a little bit better guiding when collecting data for the comet. And then click here to enable. All right, there, it was already enabled. So make sure you have enabled clicked, and you're done. And then, of course, when you're finished, make sure you disable that, or else you'll be having some crazy tracking throughout the night if you're tracking on a solid non-moving object like a galaxy or a nebula. But make sure you do enable it for the comets, and then you're good to go. This really helps lock on the comet, give you some better smoothing for longer exposure times. Okay, there you have it right there. So going into NINA, everything is done just about for you. You just have to do a couple little things, and there you go. You're ready to set. And then you hit frame and go into framing. And this is going to put it where it should be in the sky. Since I have no camera connected and so forth, it's giving me just a wild guess, but it's going to be right there right now. Now, here's something I learned that you got to be careful for. If you're programming, like add a sequence to a target, since this is going to be rising right now about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning before it clears my horizon. If you do this at 8 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night, it's going to take these coordinates right here. So if you want to get the coordinates for the comet in the center position, you better wait until 4 o'clock in the morning to hit the update frame to go to chase the comet. Otherwise, the comet would be here, but right now, but at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's going to be down over here somewhere. So this is where it's going to be starting to do your imaging, and the comet will eventually move out of frame. So you don't want to do that. So keep that in mind. Load this frame in and update it before you start taking the exposures. Not at 8 o'clock at night, then go to bed and wake up the next morning. You're going to find out your comet is in the lower portion of the screen, as seen by this. I did this the other night. That's how I learned by doing. And the comet was down, almost out of the frame. It was close, but it was moving out of the frame. Okay, so much for that. That's NINA. So let's take a look at some of the operations as I was collecting the data during the night. And I wasn't just using the one telescope. I was using two telescopes. I was using the Orion Eon 130 millimeter refractor and the Maxitoff Newtonian astrograph, which is 190 millimeter. And I was using that, both scopes, to lock on the comet. So let's take a look at that. Now, that sets the guide or shift rate in the PhD. Set tracking rate, you want to leave that alone, I found out. For some reason, I clicked on that and it just had my system go wacko. So try to avoid that unless you really know what you're doing. If you know what that means, put your comments in below, because I don't know what it means. I just know if I click that, my tracking goes crazy. All right, let's go into the imaging tab over here. We're plate solving right now, letting NINA find the comet for me. All right, there's the comet. You can see now it's at the bottom of the screen, so it hasn't quite centered it yet. And yeah, it's green, isn't it? It's quite green. But there's also some reds and yellows in there, which I'm going to be pulling out in the post-processing. There, it's pretty good. It's going to, yeah, it says that's good. That's centered. All right, so we plate solved. Now, the next thing we want to do is add our image to the sequence. And a simple sequence will do. You can do other things if you want in the advanced sequencer, but I find the simple sequence is more than enough for me. There are some advantages in the advanced sequencer, but I don't want to get into that right now. Anyway, for tonight, I'm going to take 60-second exposures, and I'm going to take a bunch because I'm going to make an animation. I'm going to take 2 hours worth of data. That gives me till 5:30 in the morning or so, and almost approaching 6 o'clock in the morning. All right, and about ready to go. Make sure everything is set. Camera, oh, I forgot to turn the cooler on the camera. It's not going to take much time to cool down because it's cold outside, but I'm taking it down to minus 10 degrees Celsius. And again, looking at the orbitals, set guide or shift rate since I just downloaded it again. I'm going to make sure that these are fresh so that I get better guiding with the PhD2. And there you can see the right ascension declinations are at 0 at the moment, but then when I click on the frame shift rate, it'll put those data points in there for me. And there they are right there. Here we are in telescope number 3. This is the Maxitoff Newtonian astrograph, and it's already cleared the horizon there about an hour ago, so I'm already taking images here. And there you can see the comet right there. And zooming in, you know, the question is, what direction is the comet moving? You might think it's moving toward the upper left. That's what it looks like, doesn't it? But when you see the animation, you're going to be surprised if you don't already know. Now here I'm taking a 3-hour exposure, a 3-hour animation, 60 seconds each. So that's 180 frames. That's a lot of fit files. All right. All right, back to telescope number 2. Guiding is on. Pretty good guiding there, 0.52 error. That's not bad. And the camera is ready, so we are ready to rock and roll here. So let's start recording here. And I already got it centered on the target. I don't have to re-slew to the target. I already did an autofocus, so I'm ready to go. So let's just hit go and start from there. Checking out my final images and data. I set the gain at 100. I set the gain at 100 with an offset of 40 for this camera. This camera is the ZWO ASI 071 one-shot color camera. All right, let's go into PixInsight and look at some of the examples. So first of all, this is the very first image I took on the morning of the 16th, January 16th, with the Orion Eon telescope, and there's the comet right there. And this is the image here, the second image, and there you can see how much it's changed. And you can see that's the after picture. This is 5:45 This is 3:45 in the morning, the bottom picture. You can see how the comet has moved. It's moving kind of like in toward its plume, but actually it's moving right along that path right there, and the solar wind is blowing it away. All right, let's take a look at the comet itself. This is from the Orion Eon. This is a 3-minute exposure here. This is three 1-minute exposures tied together. And you can see the comet, the core is quite round, but the stars are more oblong because it's a 3-minute image right here. All right, let's take a look at the blur exterminator. Did a decent job in smoothing out the stars a little bit, but they're still oblong. But look at the comet. The comet is nice and clean. There you can see it right there, nice round core. The core is not oblong. That's good. And then I took the just the nebulosity by using star exterminator, pulling out the stars and then cleaning it up a little bit in Photoshop as well. But there you can see that red in the plume and the green in the head and so forth. Again, it's all moving in this direction here, almost along this plume right here. And the final image on this one here is the combination of everything put together in Photoshop. And there you can see nice clean stars in some locations. A little bit oblong, but the core itself is nice and round. So very good. All right, let's close out these guys. And this is the astrograph, the Maxitoff-Newtonian telescope with the Player 1 Uranus C camera, planetary camera, but I used it for deep space. And, well, actually, this is planetary. It's in our solar system. Anyway, there's the comet with a 1-minute exposure there, and nice round images and so forth, and tracking on the comet. And again, this is the using the blur exterminator. It didn't take out these stars here. It took those as nebulosity. But then the final, through Photoshop, you can see that nice big wide plume and so forth, and the comet is moving, believe, right along this direction here. So, yeah. All right. Well, I hope you found some value in this video, and if you want, you can buy me a cup of coffee to help support my channel here on YouTube. I love my coffee, and here it is right here, my James Webb coffee cup. I got a little bit of coffee left. Good stuff. Anyway, you can do it. $2 a cup, not bad, not bad. You don't have to, but if you want to, that wouldn't hurt. Just click on the link below in the description box there. Anyway, the comet's going to be visible in the southern hemisphere early March. You can't see it there yet, but it's very visible now with telescopes and binoculars in the northern hemisphere. And soon, possibly by the end of the month of January, early February, we might be able to see it with the naked eye without any use of any optical aids in very, very dark areas. It might reach a magnitude 5, maybe even below that, maybe 4. I doubt it, but it's possible. Or it just may sit at 5.5 to 6 where you can't see it without any optical aids. Nonetheless, it's not going to be a blazing image up in the northern sky. No. It will be if you look at it through binoculars and with the telescopes. Anyway, remember the heavens are just filled with all these majestic wonders. And, Becky talks about it in her book, the thousands upon thousands of stars, well, actually billions upon billions of stars, even some galaxies containing 1 trillion or more stars. And there's thousands and hundreds of thousands of galaxies out there. So it's amazing that the light that emitted from the stars in these galaxies traveled millions upon millions of miles over millions and millions of years in some cases, and yet we can see them. Becky talks about it in her book right here as well. But it's fascinating. We have the comet up there right now, which is a fascinating, majestic wonder, and we're moving into what's called galaxy season, and particularly in February, March, and April. Well, I just showed you a picture of M82 galaxy. That's up there right now, M82, M81. You got the Trio and Leo galaxies coming up. You got M51, the Whirlpool galaxy. It seems to be a favorite among many, but they're coming up as well. So, this is what I do on this channel here. Now, if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button as well if you like this video. And if you want to buy me a cup of coffee, you can do that too. But anyway, this is Heavenly Backyard Astronomy, and I get a lot of great information by watching other astronomy videos, and I hope you're getting some information from watching mine as well. It's a learning process, and I continue to learn and continue to want to learn. Reading books and getting out there with the scope and then figuring out what I'm seeing, why I'm seeing it. How is it possible that I'm seeing it? It's amazing what the astrophysicists and the scientists in the years before have come up with, so we have this information available to us today. I would imagine Einstein and not so much Einstein, but Isaac Newton perhaps, and Johannes Kepler and Galileo would have just been chomping at the bit to have equipment we have today in our own backyards. It's amazing what we can see in our own backyards. So yeah, remember, the heavens are just filled with these majestic wonders, and they're all in a sky near you. So unless you need rain, clear skies, everyone. There's the green comet. Green comet, white comet's green.